fantastic question.
Thank you.
I'm not sure how I can pinpoint when the bug bit me, but
Mhm.
I always talk about in our house growing up, there was always a black and white picture of my mom's basketball team. And so I grew up knowing that she started as a freshman. She was also part of integrating a predominantly white school. And
Mhm.
so she would tell me about some of the struggles that were involved with that. And so I think that always I kind of wanted to make her proud. And I always felt like the bar, she never said that, but I always felt
Mhm.
like the bar was going to be starting as a freshman and doing those other things. Although I played softball in high school as well, basketball was my first love. And ironically, one of those things when you've looked at that something for so long, I did
Mhm.
start as a freshman. And one of my most favorite years of all in sports was that freshman year when I was allowed to play on the junior high team and the high school team. I grew up in a small Class B school, and so absolutely loved that year where I was playing basketball 5 to 6 days a week.
Wow, that's amazing. Yeah, and like you said, you just wanted to make her proud, even though she never said it, but you was trying to
Right.
follow her footsteps, and that's pretty cool. So as I mentioned earlier, you're a Hall of Famer from your alma mater, with such honors as Player of the Week, OIC Scholar Athlete, OIC and District 9 All Conference teams, and Northwestern Ranger Queen. What amazing accomplishments. How, with basketball classes, possibly campaigning for Ranger Queen, how were you able to juggle all this and keep your GPA up?
Well, it's one of those things that I absolutely loved college, and some of my friends from the Baptist Student Union, they were my sponsoring group for Ranger Queen.
Okay.
They talked me
Mhm.
into it, and ironically, it's the first time that I learned that saw other people can see some things in yourself that you may not see at the time. I
Right.
never ever considered myself Queen material at all, and I wouldn't have had the nerve to do it had some of my friends were like, "Hey, we'll help you with the posters. We'll help you. We'll back you. You can do this. Everybody knows you," but they didn't know me in that realm. And so I don't know. That was a very eye-opening and life-changing time for me as well.
Yeah.
So to be voted in by my peers at a PWI meant a whole lot to me.
Yeah.
So yeah, but I
So
always saw myself just as a jock, an athlete, a scholar. I did see those things as me, but a queen, I never saw
well, you're a queen, sister.
that.
That's for sure. You are amazing. Just researching and reading your bio, I was like, wow, she is amazing, and that's why I'm so excited that you're our very first guest. Um, Eddie Rogers, you were inducted in the Hall of Fame in Langston in 1998. I believe 9 years after you graduated, or 8 or 9 years. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. How was that moment for you to be honored in that way?
No one really prepares you. It's like when you're excited about it, and I was honored. My family was there to see me inducted, but I was
Mhm.
not prepared for the rush of memories as you're getting ready to thank
Mhm.
those that have played a part in your induction. I just saw the hours and hours outside playing on a grass court, the excitement when my dad built my first goal. And it was big
Yeah.
because he actually had a welder. I had the metal pole, the everything, still had a
Wow.
grass court. But I mean, I looked at all the hours that were spent in the backyard and that had brought me to that point. The sacrifices that my mom and dad had made. We weren't rich by any means. My mom was a school teacher, and all of that was full circle, and I just felt grateful to God that he allowed me to experience that moment.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So, Eddie Rogers, you served 4 years as an athletic director for women's sports and was selected as AD of the Year for Region 6 in 2003. Now, I never knew there could be separate ADs for women and men's sports. Could you elaborate on that for me? I mean, why was it just for women's sport?
So at that point in time, we were at NEI Division 1 school, and
Mhm.
so we split the responsibilities. Part of my time, there were 2 years that the other men's AD
I did want to talk a little bit about bowls, and people have asked questions about the Celebration Bowl in terms of the payout. What does that look like? Just to give you updates there, you're talking about $1.2 million payout in terms of the bowls that go to the conference. A percentage of that goes to the institution, depending on the split, 75-25 for the SWAC, 70-30 in terms of the MEAC, or that was the last percentage breakdown in terms of what that looks like. But I want to do a little comparison so you get a chance of what does that look like. Obviously, you have the major bowls, and you've seen what they do as they off the chart in terms of the New Year's Six, $14 million, significant type of money. But you see how long they've been in the business for the Rose Bowl, going back 100 years in terms of what they do there and how they're tied into the CFP and how they have really engulfed all that money. But if you look at some of the other bowls out there, there was an article that talked about the Quick Lane Bowl, really focusing on New Mexico State, which it was encouraging fans to purchase tickets. And it wasn't so much about purchasing tickets. Obviously, you want to support your team. But a lot of it would maybe be the distance that a lot of fans wouldn't necessarily travel for a 6-6 Aggies team that was playing a 6-6 Bowling Green Falcons team, if you would, coming out of the MAC.
All right, hello, welcome to a live edition of the ONG Strike Zone. It's a full house backfield right now. It's not only myself, Brian Fulford, Kelvin Rozier, Kofi Hemingway, Marcus Green, the whole squad ready. And we are ready to bring you some of the information, news, thoughts, commentary regarding Florida A&M University athletics and culture. We'll go round the horn clockwise. Kelvin, Marcus, and then Kofi. How you doing today, Kelvin? How you doing tonight?
It's a rough one for me today, man. But it's good. It's therapeutic for me to be here with my brothers, cause brothers who got real love for you. Cause it's some foolishness. You got folks out here who steal and stuff, and just ain't right. So I'm good. I'm glad to be here, man, and got a lot to talk about.
Yeah, man. Sorry to hear you going through it. I know it's gotta be tough. How you doing, Marcus?
Doing good. Having a good week so far.
All right, good. You're doing better than some. Kofi, how you doing tonight?
All is well, my brother. All is well.
One Welcome back. Glad to have you back.
Thank you. I'm glad to be back.
Glad to have you back. Welcome back in.
Need a word.
Yeah. we missed you. We missed you. The folks missed you definitely. I'm doing well. In case you wondered, I'm one game away from being a 4-time state champion. As my high school team got a little bit closer this afternoon, so we're going for that 4-peat on Friday afternoon. So,
what's the name of your school? Let everybody know.
Yeah, Orlando Christian Prep. There it is, right there. Orlando Christian Prep.
What classification?
10-time state champion. Class 2A or 3A when they wanted to make it more, but particularly 2A class. Florida High School Athletic Association, 10-time state champ. So, shout out to Coach Treg Burke and the rest of the young men. We even got a FAMU recruit. Although FAMU ain't been in touch with him in a while, but I'm not gonna go there about that. But I mean, we offered. I don't know why we ain't followed up. Anyway, Thanks for following the show. Make sure to hit us up on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at ONG Strike Zone. Go download the Jericho Broadcast Networks app on the Google Play and Apple App Store. And hopefully you guys are also downloading the show via the BCSN Pod Zone. So that's BCSN Pod Zone everywhere you download and listen to podcasts. Well, we're going to start with as we say, some of the bad news first. Get the bad out the way, and then we'll get on to the better news as the show moves along. The end of the home basketball season came and went on Monday night. Yes, to the applause of many. Unfortunately, now look, we had a tough Saturday on senior night of all nights against Grambling. I think the Grambling women and the Grambling men came in and stomped all over us. Yeah, they came in, stomped all over us with pretty bad efforts. And then, unfortunately, the women got a win over Southern. So congratulations. The women finished the homestand with a win. The men should have won the game against Southern. Lost it on a jump shot, doggone with about a couple of seconds left. And then at the end of the game, I don't even know how to put some of the stuff at the end in the words. Kelvin, the home season is over. We still have Bethune-Cookman to play for. Now, obviously we don't have a chance at going to the top 8 in the tournament, but I think we can feel, I don't know if good is the right word. We can feel, give me a better word for good. Not as good as good, but when you beat BCU and you had a bad season, what does that feel like? Marcus, Kofi, what is it? Give me an adjective. Give me a word, description. We have
At
none.
this point, I really don't care. I hate to say it. I just don't. Beat them. So that's nice. It's nice.
So
at this point, I could care less.
We feel empty.
At this point, I could care less.
Okay. We don't ever want to get to a point where we
there's
don't
nothing
care.
to play for. It's like this has
Beating
not been a good
disagree.
season.
Beating Bethune-Cookman is something to play for. I disagree with that sentiment.
Look, in terms of
that's
conference,
supposed to be a given.
Listen, I won't complain if we win, right? I won't complain, but what does it mean?
But okay. I'm
finish on a high note, yay. But this season sucked.
On a high note. Yeah.
This season sucked, and we have to address what we're going to do with our basketball teams.
Yeah, we got to be better.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Somebody got to go. Somebody got to go. Assistant or hire another assistant. Whatever it is, it has to be talked about. We cannot go through another season like this. And for me, I don't think it's been a while since we finished top 3 in any conference.
Mm-hmm.
And so basketball-wise, we have to address or talk about where we are now, where we're going, and how we're going to get there. Because I don't see a clear vision. If you ask Coach McCullum about going and recruiting Bronny, he would say, no, he wouldn't do it because he doesn't feel as though it's supported, that the program is at a place where he would even entertain having to answer those questions. When it comes to recruiting top flight athletes, I'm not sure if Coach McCullum believes that he has a real shot to get them. And that in itself is a major concern. I think he looks to try to do the very best he thinks he can do. But at FAMU, You're talking about trying to
So
get winners.
so you're bringing up a great point, which I'd love to hear everyone's thoughts on. We're talking about what we don't have. We're talking about what we're short of. Now, at some point, though, are we holding? Because I hear two things: are we holding the coach accountable, or are we holding the overall athletic department and culture
Everybody that's a
accountable?
part of this program, everybody that's been a part of this program has to be held accountable. That includes Coach McCullum, that includes President Robinson, that
Right.
includes that can't really include our new AD, right?
But
But
if we can't
what
talk about moving on, which a lot of people, a lot of Rattlers are doing that. A lot of Rattlers are talking about moving on from two coaches. But again, if we're not giving our two coaches what they need to be successful, is anything going to change outside of these two coaches?
no, and that's why
So
everything needs to be addressed. Everything needs to be addressed and on the table. But unquestionably, I knew really from with Coach Pillow, my expectations were very low coming into this season, in spite of the people that she brought in, right? Because we knew that she was building from the ground up. And quiet as it's kept, the SWAC is not an easy basketball conference, especially with Jackson State. She did bridge the gap a little bit, so I do give her credit for that. But let's go back to the men, because the men are the ones, the men's team is what's really at this point going to sell the ticket and move the meter. So there were a number of close basketball games that the men had this year that were winnable basketball games. And for me, that's where your coaching really comes into play in close games with your time management, your shot selection, your play selection, all of that stuff. Who you put in, your
The
personnel,
substitutions.
all of that really does matter. And unfortunately, you know, I can't say that my brother, Coach McCullum, did an excellent job in that regard this year. For whatever the reason was, it was not good. This is not a good brand of basketball. This is not something that Rattler Nation is going to continue to pay to see. So the question is, if you keep him, how much excitement is going to be coming into the next season? How many season tickets? You're talking about trying to sell and move season tickets, get attendance up. We've got Oregon coming in here next year. We want to be able to at least pack the place out, give a good representation of our school and what we have to offer. The arena is nice, but beyond the arena, where is our basketball program? And you have to ask that. Now, on to the women. I think Coach Pillow is slowly but surely doing her thing. But my thing is this. I want to know that the coaches that I have believe, look, I believe that the team did better than they did last year. So I have to
yes,
acknowledge
they
that,
did.
right?
They did.
Um,
Yes,
What,
they
2 wins?
have.
I need to know.
What, 2 wins?
Three. It's about three.
The
How
men
many
had
wins do
more
we
wins than
have
the
on the
women.
season with the women?
The women only had 2 or 3.
So we
You
doubled
mean
that,
this
right?
year, right, Coker?
No, last
Correct.
You
year.
talking
You
about
talking
this year,
about
right?
This year.
Yeah.
We got 5 wins, right?
6. We got 6.
6.
No, 5.
We've
Okay.
doubled it up.
No,
We've
we
doubled
beat
it up.
Southern, so we got 6. We got 6.
Yeah,
Okay.
we've doubled
All
it
right.
up from a year
So
ago.
Okay, so that's an improvement if you're grading it. Now, I need to know that we're going to give every effort in getting the best quality athletes to come and play for our institution. I'm not sure that that's going to happen. I think really, and I like her, but I think that she doesn't believe that she can get a Power 5 quality player to come to FAMU based off the level of commitment. I would want somebody in there with the energy that says, you know what? I can get this done. I'm not gonna give y'all no excuses. I can guarantee that the brand of basketball we're going to play is going to be fast paced. It's going to be excellent. We're gonna get out there on defense. We're gonna work hard to give Rattler Nation what we believe that they deserve in a quality product moving forward. We're gonna go after and try to out recruit the Miamis, the Floridas, the Florida States. We're gonna try and do it. Right now, I'm not sure if she feels that level of support from the administration. I'm not sure if she feels that level of support from us. I'm not sure if she feels that level of support. So that has a lot to do with that stuff is draining. Losing takes a toll.
Well, when you
It
let me
takes
ask
a
this
toll on
question,
your
Kofi.
mentality. It takes
When
a
you
toll
say
on your
support,
confidence.
you say support. What support? What are we talking about? Kelvin, Marcus, you guys jump in there. When you say support, what kind of support do you need recruiting? Are you talking about financial support or something else?
Well,
Financial
well,
support.
I'm gonna answer that question, but I want to give my analysis first and then lead to that. My analysis of the men's team this year, the talent was not the issue. We were in a number, like Kofi said, against all the top teams. With the exception of the two blowouts we had. We were in almost all the games this year. We never did figure out a lineup, consistent lineup. Um, I think I've been saying for about 5 weeks now. You can tell how the men are they in the game, if they're gonna win or not, by one player. And they played out this weekend too, right? We got blown out by Gremlin. Stevens played 3 minutes, and then
Yeah,
of course, and then Southern he was our leading scorer, even though he still didn't play the amount of minutes he should have. I don't know what's going on with that. There was other players who I thought were better, and then some guys that started coming off the bench, and then he had guys that played 30 minutes every night who didn't, whose stats didn't say they should be playing 30 minutes,
yeah.
and just turnover after turnover. Didn't see adjustments. I didn't see, uh, you know, any evidence of coaching a lot of times on game day. Even the Gremlin game, the refs were horrible early, and it didn't even say a whole lot. He said once or twice or something, but I mean Gremlin, it was 22 to like maybe 17, and probably 10 of their points were all at the free throw line, and then they end up being up 31-17 by the time halftime came. Our defense was okay. We were both stinging up to join us and them. But I have to say it, and I like him personally, but Coach did a bad job with this team. This team talent level, while it wasn't elite, we only had one true shooter, but they still had pieces. If you ran sets, there was no screens, man, and we trying to pass ball inside, and we know we don't have a post presence. Your best shooter don't touch the float game. It just he did a bad job. All right. As far as the women goes, they had injuries they dealt with, and etc. But at the end of the day, 5 wins, 6 wins don't do it. It wasn't a good enough improvement. And folks keep saying about folks are good coaches. Good coaches find a way to win some games, and still some games they're supposed to win, even when they don't have the talent level where they need to be. We are who our record says we are, and that is a seven win men's team and a 5-win women's team at this point. And so I don't want to hear. There's no
Six.
participation trophies, anything like that. This is a bad year. This is a disappointing year. In terms of support, yes, it's true. Both coaches talked about no recruiting budgets and how they have to regionally go to different things, and they can't bring kids in terms of nationally recruiting. Talk about the budget they have in terms of assistant coaches. So you know, you don't necessarily have a different caliber assistance on the bench. Um, but for me, today is not about what you don't have. It's about what you did and then doing with what you do have. And that's where my comments come in at. We can be better. We talked about to both coaches about trying to recruit more regionally and locally. You got TCC here. TCC is like top team in the country in junior college. You know,
Every
Florida
year.
High with your team with your team played. They were defending champions last year, and they got to the semifinals this year. You have McClay, who beaten Florida High twice, and lost in the state playoffs to them. And they have all of them have kids who go on D1, and some that still ain't made their decisions. So I don't
Look,
want to hear the excuses. There's talent. Maybe you should try to. I've said it before. Get some coaches here who are connected to these circuits in the community, and maybe they can help you to get some of these kids. The coaches are saying, but coaches don't want to, and kids don't want to come to programs that are losing. We've been losing a lot, and I can tell you, Anthony Robinson, who plays at Florida High, I know he's going Power 5 anyway, but his daddy, mom, all, they Rattlers. They were at many of the games. They saw the poor play and the lack of coaching. Maybe if you did a better job, and folks thought they could come in and get a look, then maybe you could get a kid here and there. But right now we ain't making much effort. The coaches ain't making much effort. The resources ain't where they need to be, and we're not. And the product on the court is bad. It's not good. So
Nobody
my
wants to
thing
come in
is,
and change it, huh?
so
Nobody
both
wants to come in and
so
change it, huh?
both coaches got one more year. I'm not advocating to get rid of anybody. They got 1 year on their contract. Let them have their year, and if they don't get it done next year, then I'm the first one I throw the first rock. It's time. Because I would tell you, I didn't tell y'all this. I left the game, the Gremlin game, man, 5 minutes into the second half. I couldn't take it no more, man. Everybody, I told people
5
around
minutes
me, I don't
into
want
the
to hear
second
y'all.
half, yeah.
Yep. I told them I don't want to bother y'all and y'all hear me cussing and fussing the rest of the game. So I done took as much as so much so that I didn't go to the game on Monday. I watched it on Facebook Live, but I didn't even go to the last home game, man. I done had as much as I could take. That
look,
hard.
for me,
I just couldn't take no more.
And look, for me, you have to look at, okay, so we got 1 more year with this contract, with both contracts. You have to look at it and say, okay, it's just 1 more year. What's the probability of us finishing top 3 with the men's? I think the women can make the tournament
coming
next
back.
year.
I don't know. They losing a lot of players. I don't
If
see
they
that.
lose another, I hope they don't lose another 8-9 players like they did last year. That would be
Bro.
hard pill to
You
swallow.
gotta look at that and say, do we reassign Coach McCullum, keep him on somewhere else, and bring in somebody that's going to be able to energize the program for the next 3 to 5 years? If he only has 1 year left on that, reassign him, pay him, get somebody in there that's going to energize the program. Because you got to sell. At this point, we can't afford to
We have money to
throw
do that.
another.
We have money to do that.
He was
We
coach
should.
of the
We're going to
year
have to
just
pay him regardless.
Hey, he was coach of the year regardless whether we like it or not. 2 years
That's what
ago?
I'm saying. He was a good coach. He is a good coach. Good coaches have bad seasons. He had a bad season. He had a string of good seasons, and then all of a sudden you had to do a reset with the roster. This hasn't been a good season. We all admit it.
Read his last 5 seasons.
In conference, they were good seasons. Nobody's winning non-conference. I read them. You read them.
Yeah.
I read them. We know what they are. We know what they are, Kofi. But nobody's
Look,
having good non-conference schedules.
Norfolk State has a good program. They've got a
They pay
winning
their
record.
coach. They
It's
pay their coach a
taking them.
lot more
It's
money
taking them.
too,
They do,
and he's
yes,
been
and
there
it's
a
taking them
while.
a
Okay.
few years to
North
get to the
Carolina
point where they
Central
can have
has a pretty decent
20-win seasons.
North Carolina Central.
Taking
Same
them a
thing.
while. Same thing. It takes time,
make
Kofi.
big money.
It takes
Well, they're
time.
making big money too. They going to the
Morgan
I agree
State.
now. They ain't really did a whole
What's
lot.
Morgan State done? What's Morgan State done? Morgan State's done nothing. What have they done? They've done no better than us.
Okay, so my point is
we beat Iowa State. You know, coaches beat them, what, 2 years ago? I mean, I'm just saying.
In the words of Janet Jackson,
you gotta give him another year. You gotta give him another year.
What have you done for me lately?
All right, Marcus. Marcus, anything you want to add quickly before we get on the brighter news outside of talking basketball? Anything you want to add quickly? If not, I can totally understand you opting out. But what do you got?
I haven't seen as many games as Kelvin and Kofi, just watching what's online. But some of what I saw Monday in spurts reminded me of like the 2014, 2015 Atlanta Hawks, where it's all ISO everything. There were people just trying to take the whole team on off the dribble. And I was like, what is going on? It's like I'm looking at Joe Johnson and Al Horford just trying to out-dribble the whole team. I'm like, what is going on? Because there were times they did pass around the perimeter. And it was real competitive. We had a lead, but then we started trying to go one-on-one. I didn't see the second half because I was getting tired. So I didn't see everything, but I know last I saw we were up 40-35. And then, I woke up next morning and saw the last shot. But I was just disappointed at this point in the season and at this point of Coach McCullough's tenure. And I don't know if it was him or if it's just the team, because we have a brand new team. And we do have a guy from TCC. I think Byron Smith was one of their players from last year.
The season over with now. I mean, it ain't a brand new team.
Look, I'm not.
They should look different.
People talk. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Are you done? Are you done, Marcus?
Yeah, I was just disappointed that it was like it devolved into one-on-one type play at this point in the year after being in a system and, trying to build camaraderie. And I was like, okay, here we go. Because if everybody's going to try to go 1-on-5, it's not going to turn out well. And I'd imagine that a lot of the games kind of went that way.
All right. So what I wanted to address was this whole recruitment thing, right? Florida has good quality athletes. Okay? Because people like Florida's not a basketball state. Within a 3.5, 4-hour radius, you have 2 nationally ranked JUCOs. Okay? 2 nationally ranked, one right in town with TCC. Okay? And then you've got good high school basketball in Tallahassee. You got good we got solid basketball in Tallahassee. You can find 1 or 2 players between Rickards, Godby, Florida High, McClay.
I'll agree with you on that.
Crossroads.
Yeah, you can find 1 or 2. Then you have Jacksonville within a 2-hour radius. Jacksonville has good quality athletes that play basketball. Reebok is good normally. Raines, Jackson, all of those schools. It's somewhere in Jacksonville you got to find me somebody that can play. One.
The team that beat Florida High.
Find one. You can't tell me that you can't go into Gainesville and find somebody that can ball the way you need them to ball. Now, here's the other thing. We're 4 hours away from freaking Atlanta, which is FAMU North. You can't find one. I don't want to hear about
4-hour radius,
within
5-hour
4-hour radius. Even Orlando. Within a 4-5-hour radius, you can find one basketball player, one, in each of those areas that will not break your budget. Don't bring me
You
no
can't go
bad
that
news.
far,
I'm sick
Lamont.
of it. I'm sick
You
of
can't go
hearing
that far, Lamont.
excuses. I
Travel budget.
don't want to hear that foolishness.
Yeah.
We
All
could
right.
do better.
We can. Saturday,
Yeah.
Bethune-Cookman, be there. I think it's a 2 and a 4 o'clock for the women, men. Rattler Nation, let's find a way to get there and pack out the little arena or the little high school gym play. Let's try to pack it out as we can, and let's see women and our men out on a positive note. I do agree with you, Kofi. And the crazy part is, yes, if I the assistant coaches have got to be hustlers. They're
Look,
all younger.
you got to be
They're all
willing to
younger than
sell the
Coach
darn
McCullum.
program.
They're all younger than Coach McCullum. So if you guys out there want to use age as a factor, them guys are young. They should be able to cover a 4 to 5 hour radius like dogs, and that's what it's going to take. And if they can't do it, then you got to find new assistants that are going to get it done.
Florida Atlantic has a 24-win season. Florida Atlantic.
Yeah,
South
nice
Florida got
facilities.
some players too.
Nice budget. Yeah, that's a bit
I
far.
don't
I
want
don't
to
know if
hear
our
that
recruiting
foolishness.
budget will
All
get us to
these
South
Rattlers,
Florida.
bruh. All
I'm
of
just
these
talking.
Rattlers down south, we can't find one.
Hey, Sheldon Mackey says a college coach found Dennis Rodman at the YMCA. What kind of Ys y'all got up there in Tallahassee? I got some nice YMCA's there in Tallahassee.
Be quiet.
All right.
But here's the thing. Let me say this.
Don't know. Hey, you telling your age? Nobody go to the YMCA no more, man.
Yeah, they got good league basketball in Tallahassee. If you go to Gaither Park, you can find somebody.
Now
go
we
up the
talking
road.
about going to the park. We talking about going to the park. Jesus. Let's do this. Let's take.
Seven wins will make you do that.
7 wins will do that. Look, I got to go wherever I can find the next somebody. Jesus. Hey, let's take a break. Come back. We got to talk about the hot weekend for our softball and baseball teams. Although they ain't looking good today, but they did have a good weekend. So we're going to talk about the good weekend, and then we just going to not even talk about today. So hang in there with us. We're watching the ONG Strike Zone. We'll be back in just a moment.
Bounty versus the old family dish towel. Drying with a fresh sheet of Bounty leaves your hands cleaner than a used dish towel that can carry and redistribute food residue. So ditch the dish towel for better hand hygiene. Bounty, the quicker picker-upper.
For 200 years, Montgomery, Alabama has been making history by people who had the courage to stand up for change. Today, this riverfront city has been reborn, embracing the past and looking forward to the future. From the National Memorial for Peace and Justice to the stage of the Alabama Shakespeare Festival, this is where history was and is made. We are proud to call Montgomery home, and together, we can be the change.
At Hampton Law, our primary goal is to provide non-traditional yet effective solutions and redefine the approach to client legal concerns. As your trusted legal advisor, we believe in sophisticated, personalized services that eliminate the confusion and complexity sometimes associated with legal matters. Our high standard for client care and concern, coupled with our extensive legal knowledge and skills, make Hampton Law a resource focused on the protection of the client's interest and overall goals. We value our clients and truly enjoy working with them. Visit thamptonlaw.com to conveniently schedule an appointment online. Tamika Hampton Esquire, 1631 Rock Springs Road, Suite 336, Apopka, Florida, 407-494-1471. thamptonlaw.com.
Maureen is saving big holiday shopping at Amazon, so now she's free to become...
Let's face it, shopping for insurance can be time-consuming. That's why when it comes to your auto, home, and life insurance needs, make things simple and trust the experts at Allstate. They will help you get the coverage that fits your needs while helping you bundle your life, home, and auto policies. Bundling saves you money, sure, but it also saves you time, so you can enjoy the things that matter most even more. Contact me, Tammy Haynes, your local agent, for a free personalized insurance quote. Allstate, are you in good hands?
Supermarket sushi, really? No. Wait, Troy?
welcome back to the ONG Strike Zone. Brian, Kelvin, Kofi, Marcus, Green, all in the house tonight. Hey, coming up at the top of hour 2, we're going to talk to the gentleman who created the HBCU line that many of you are aware of, called the Anthony Lawrence Collection. Defron Fob has been putting out some dope gear for HBCUs. So he's even done an NIL with our friend Janiah Davis, and I think the announcement came out the other day. I saw that he is donating, or maybe it's Janiah. I don't know. Somehow the Anthony L collection is donating the bomber jackets, the FAMU bombers, which are green, kind of the shiny jacket, almost like those old school starter jackets from back in the day that we grew up on. You don't actually have that one, do you, Kevin? But you have one that's like that. So yeah, all the entire softball team will be getting a bomber jacket from the Anthony Lawrence collection. I believe that was the announcement I saw. So we'll and hey, you've seen our VP, you've seen Coach Simmons rocking the gear on Instagram, Twitter. So we're gonna get a chance to talk to Defron, who's making some strong moves in the fashion industry, especially as it relates to HBCU gear. So I remember back in the day, we used to complain about not finding quality HBCU merch. You can't complain these days. I mean, there is quality merchandise, and they are officially licensed. He is officially licensed. So you're looking for officially licensed gear. You can find it. So that'll come up at the top of hour 2. Yeah, and there's that's not the exact version, but that is a style of the bomber jackets, as you can see Kelvin rocking there. So, all right. So I put out a Twitter poll to kind of say who won the weekend between our softball team, our baseball team, and our football guys. We had some Rattlers playing in the Legacy Bowl, and I believe over 60% of the vote said the softball team won the weekend, and they did. I think they had a great weekend. They went 4-0 at the HBCU tournament. I believe that tournament was in Montgomery, Alabama, where they beat Southern on Friday 2-1, then turned around, beat Southern again 2-0 on Saturday morning. Then they beat Alabama A&M 4-3, and then they finished off the weekend with a 13-8 win over South Carolina State. Just reading some of the stats here from the softball Twitter feed. The Rattlers bats were hot this past week as they had 5 hitters bat at least 300. That's with 11 minimum at bats. Melkyla Irvis led the way with a 636 batting average, going 7 of 11. Mia Blazingame and Destiny Cuevas both hit over 400. And then in terms of the pitching was pretty good over the weekend as they combined for an ERA of 1.80 with 21 strikeouts in the weekend. Today, we played our first home opener of the season. So it was against Southeastern Louisiana. Unfortunately, we lost 10-4. But when I go and look at when I go and look at the box score, both teams had 11 hits. I think the key is that FAMU had 6 errors, and Southeastern only had 3. Crazy thing is, in terms of runners left on base, we left 11 runners on base. They left 10. So, I mean, defensively, you could say, hey, it's great that we, ended those innings with 10 runners. But then on the opposite side, we left 11 runs. So, I mean, we lose by 6, left 11 on base, got outscored 5-1 in the final 2 frames. So that's how that softball went. What's your thoughts? I'll start with you, Marcus. I'll go with you, Marcus, to start it off. What thoughts on softball from the weekend?
Oh, I was hyped. I mean, I was hyped to see them putting a whooping on everybody. And I mean, it looked pretty good. They had some close games. I think the two with Southern, if I remember correctly, were one-run games where they pretty much either shut them down or held them to one run. So that was good. I know the win against Prairie View. I think we won by one run, like 4-3 or 5-4, something like that. I don't
Alabama
remember
A&M.
the Alabama A&M. And I mean, it was good overall to see them come out and dominate and win the weekend. And I was hoping it would carry over to today. I didn't know much about Southeast Louisiana softball, but I was hoping to carry over to today. But I think it's still a good omen going forward.
Kofi, your thoughts on?
I'm happy that our teams perform well against other HBCUs. Of course, we know that, right now we're kind of still establishing ourselves in the season. We're just getting in it. So, although this is good, our end game is to win the SWAC. So, the baseball team got to the semis last year in the SWAC, and so getting to the finals or winning the SWAC is key. We got to have somebody else to win the SWAC besides the volleyball team. So the softball team, in spite of the fact that they're lacking a lot of depth, has shown an ability, has shown, I want to say, a level of quality, and their energy level is, something that is admirable. I think that, again, the end game is the SWAC tournament. So I want to see us do well in the SWAC tournament and win it with both softball and baseball.
Kelvin, your thoughts?
I had a chance to watch I actually watched all 3 out of the 4 games this weekend because Alabama State was streaming it. Didn't have much sound to it, but you could see what was going on. And that South Carolina State game on Sunday, we fell behind 5-0 in that first inning, and had to pull the pitcher. But within 3 innings, we were back in the lead again. I'm really impressed with Camise Patterson. She doesn't have a paid assistant. She got the job in January, and in spite of all that, we talk about what people don't have. She's still producing. We also have a win against non-HBCU competition because we did beat Mercer in their tournament, and this is our second time playing Southeastern Louisiana. We played them in their tournament up there on February 19th and lost 9-0. So given everything I just said, the fact that we undefeated against a HBCU competition, and we do have a couple of out of conference wins and have 6 wins on the season already. It bodes well. I think they have an excellent opportunity as long as they stay healthy moving forward. And I actually feel the same way about the baseball too. Against our leagues with our resources, I think we'll be fine.
And the win over University of North Florida was a good one because they always give us a hard time. And so to get that win, I think it was yesterday.
Baseball.
That was good. I'm proud of this. Proud of our start. I'm proud of our beginning. I do want to see an adjustment. I don't like blowout losses. It just speaks to our lack of depth. And at some point, there's something, again, that we've got to find. The challenge for our AD is to find the additional resources that can help our programs, all of our programs, go to the next level. And that also includes a buy-in from Rattler Nation. So, but I'm proud of where we are right now.
Yep. But looking at just the schedule here quickly for softball, they're actually off for almost the next week, unless a game somehow gets added into the schedule. They don't play again until the Jackson State series, which is
March 10th.
the weekend of the 10th. Okay, and again, the new formatting with the SWAC, no more double headers on like Saturdays or Sundays. So you get one game on Friday, one game on Saturday, one game on Sunday. So we start. It's weird to say this, but we're 6-10 right now, and we start conference play already. So that'll be a home series against Jackson State, and then the following weekend, it's the Bethune-Cookman series. So 6 straight home games coming up for the Rattlers, Lady Rattlers. So we gotta keep that going. Baseball, moving over to the other hot diamond. Baseball represented themselves pretty well at the Andre Dawson Classic. They started it off on Friday with a win against Southern, a 12-6 win. That was pretty impressive. Somehow, I don't even know how you can go look at the box score yourselves, but we ended up with a 12-0 loss to University of New Orleans, and then we turned around and got a 6-4 win over Prairie View. Tonight, it's been ugly. Put like this: in practically every game we have played, the opening innings have not been great for our baseball team. Now, they've shown that they have the bats, but these second innings, you would think that your pitching is fresh. That's when you're going to get the liveliest stuff early, but it hadn't been the case in most of these games. Today, giving up almost a dozen runs to Auburn in the bottom of the first. But anyway, back to the weekend. I thought it was a pretty impressive weekend for baseball, 2-1. How do you guys feel? And Kelvin has shared this with us. We understand Coach Shoup has a different philosophy with these mid-week games. What's your take on, or how do you feel about the way we attack these midweek games? And I mean, you talk about Kofi winning the SWAC and being in position to win the SWAC. Well, I feel like, are you more understanding of the strategy by Coach, given what we've done in conference or what he's shown to do in conference?
I don't like to lose. So my philosophy would be primarily try to go out and win every game. The flip side of that is winning now versus winning later, and understanding how those bullpens work and the level of depth that you have currently on your team. I respect Coach Shoup's approach of keeping the main thing the main thing. The main thing is the SWAC tournament. You win the SWAC tournament, you get in the postseason. There's credibility for your team. There's credibility for your coaching. There's hardware for the university. And you have an opportunity to you let it all hang out and hopefully get 1 or 2 wins. That's just where we are as a program right now. The reality is we have not invested the kind of resources that would enable us to compete even at the mid-major level at a high level. If you're talking about winning a couple of rounds versus winning a region in the NCAA tournament, we need to do a lot more for the program if we want to see that level of baseball. It's more than just simply going out there. Now, basketball, people talk about basketball, Florida not being a basketball state. Florida is a baseball state. It is a known baseball state. Our tradition in baseball is deep. We've beaten the University of Miami before in baseball. We've beaten other quality Power 5 teams in baseball. And there's a lot of baseball talent in Tallahassee, It's within our region, within our reach. South Georgia, North Florida, even South Florida, it's there. So again, it's all about how good do we really want to be? And if we're going to be, regionally good, then it's going to take regional resource. We want to be nationally good, we have to have national resource, and at least above and beyond where we are right now. And that begins with our facilities. And then I want to say a deeper commitment to recruiting quality talent to our institution, but you can't do that if you don't have a facility.
Kelvin, baseball. And before you jump in there, I had somebody ask, was the baseball games, are they free this year? Keith asked that.
Yes.
Hangs up. They are free. Were we charging last year though? So they went back from charging to
Yes.
went back to free.
Yes.
That brings up an interesting
Okay.
question. How much? What? And for lack of a better term, I don't want to sound like a negative, but was the cost a deterrent? Do we expect the attendance to go up? Could it be some type of revenue generation? Because I know at least 10 years ago, and it's comparing apples to oranges, but there were some articles about the SEC teams and how they turned baseball into revenue generator.
Yeah. I hadn't seen any reports that had show what the revenue generated for ticket sales. I know they have a vendor there who's the same one who does basketball. He sets up a tent and a little table type setup because we don't have true concessions. So I don't know if there's any revenue generated from that, or it's just kind of thrown in the overall pot. But in high school games they charge
$5.
$5. So I don't think it would impact attendance at all. Eastern Illinois, when I went to there, they had quite a people trying to get out the cold, so they had a nice contingent of folks there, and I'm sure they would have had no issues paying because everywhere else you go, almost, there's a charge, right? Um, I would like to see them do something like a $50 season pass at least. So I ain't got to worry about cash. You just pay up front, and then give me a band or something, something so I can just walk on in. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know why the effort wasn't put in to try to generate some revenue this year.
Mm-hmm. I'm glad you
And
brought
in
up
terms
Eastern
of base,
Illinois.
go ahead.
Because just looking after watching on the computer or look at the game cast, but we lost 2 1-run games to them. The third one Sunday we kind of got blown out, and we had Mercer on the second game and let them come all the way back and lost an extra inning. So that's 3 out of conference wins that were there for the taking. We talk about Coach Soup's um, philosophy going for at least what he told us last year in terms of midweek games and playing the early season out of conferences to kind of tweak lineups and see what works and getting ready. But if those are 3 W's instead of 3 L's, we might be having an even more positive outlook than for the baseball team.
Yeah, they got the guard. What is the Bill Lucas Guard Classic in Atlanta this weekend
Gar Lucas.
against Grambling, which I think we've swept the last 2 years. And then
Yeah.
of course, last weekend we had the Andre Dawson where we went 2-1. We beat North Florida yesterday, so I knew he wasn't going to throw his pitchers out there this game. 2 midweek games back to back against and they had to travel. So it doesn't surprise me that we fell behind so early, because we just don't have that kind of depth to do that when we got 5 games in a week's period.
In a week.
So,
Yeah.
but I do agree. I like winning, and so I know that he have certain pitch counts and innings, and so when you know, in midweek games early, you know, he let a kid go that he know he gonna use for the weekend. He ain't gonna let him go more than an inning or two, regardless of the circumstances of the game and so forth. So I wish we were resourced differently, so he wouldn't have to make that decision. But you know, it is what it is. But at the end of the day, we have a very good hitting team this year, and they're not a great pitching team, but a solid pitching team. So, like I said, we'll do well. And the SWAC is very competitive in baseball, and so the fact that we hadn't lost to a SWAC school yet, and of course Southern was predicted to win the SWAC. So, you know, we got a good team. We can be confident as long as, again, health. Everybody stay healthy. We'll be very competitive.
Hey,
And one of our players got hitter of the week.
Thank you, Marcus.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Add that in there. I saw that. Go ahead and you have
Joseph Perini. I'm not sure if I pronounced his name right. Got hitter of the week with 8 hits and 5 RBIs over the weekend. And just looking at his physique, you know, I think this is a sophomore year, but you could tell he got, I don't know if you call it baseball shape, but you could see a difference from 2022 to now, where he's
he hit the weight room.
Yeah, you could tell his physique. He really got a lot more fit, and he always, I guess, had a live bat. But that was the challenge coming in as a true freshman. You could see that he's really made a change in his fitness level, and I think it's going to bode well for him and the team.
This weekend, for all of you Atlanta, Georgia Rattlers, again, this is the 3rd annual Gar Lucas HBCU Classic. That is Ralph Gar and Bill Lucas HBCU Baseball Classic between Grambling and Grambling and FAMU, excuse me. We have owned this series. We have swept this series each of the last 2 seasons, and so we will look to do so again against Grambling this weekend. The games begin March 3rd through Saturday, March 4th at Cool Ray Field. That is home of the Braves AAA affiliate, the Gwinnett Stripers. I almost said strippers.
Yeah,
Stripers.
Yeah, there's one P.
Stripers.
We see where your mind is.
Same thing. Same thing.
He done won a basketball game, and now he going to
ATL player.
down there.
Yeah, Brian.
Lord
Brian,
help
that's
them
Fulton
children
County,
down
not
there
Gwinnett
with
County.
Lord save them.
What you thinking about, Brian? Is in Fulton County.
I'm reading the press release off the break.
What you call it? The blue flame?
I'm reading
trying
right
to
off
go
the
see
Braves website.
Chocolate.
It says will take place March 3rd through March 4th at Cool Ray Field. I don't know. I'm just reading what's here. Home of the AAA affiliate, Gwinnett Stripers. At 1 p.
I'm in love with a striper.
Where is that field located, Marcus, or anybody? Where is that field located? How far away from where anybody? Anybody know somebody?
Right off the interstate?
No, this isn't Truist Field. That's Truist Field.
Right.
That's off the interstate.
That's true. Yeah, that is true. It's off the interstate. It's farther down.
Yeah. All right.
It might be in Lawrenceville. Let me see.
Yeah, you guys, Cool Ray Field. Jesus, help me.
Are you talking about in Buford?
I don't know where it is.
Is it in Buford?
Look, I don't know. Gwinnett? Wouldn't it be in Gwinnett County?
Okay, so if that's in Gwinnett, then it's off of it's where the Mall of Georgia is. You make a right.
Lawrenceville. It's Lawrenceville.
Okay, so you make a right. You come up 85. When you see the Mall of Georgia exit, make a right. Keep straight. It'll be on the right.
Right. Gwinnett County. That's north of the city. Those are great directions. Hopefully you love it. Okay. All right. Hey, let's get ready to take a break so that we can bring in our guest. Coming up here on the other side, we're going to talk to Defron Fob, the owner, creator, proprietor of the Anthony Lawrence Collection. Going to find out about his line, his merchandise, and how he's taking HBCU merchandise to the next level. That's coming up right here on the other side. You're watching the O&G Strike Zone. We'll be back in just a moment.
Supermarket sushi, really?
No. Wait, Troy, you work here?
I'm never not working. Like Head & Shoulders Scalp Shield technology, up to 100% dandruff protection, even between washes.
Never not working, huh?
Oh, Troy, you're such a good teacher.
Yeah, I know. Never not working. Never not working. Never ever not working.
Are you serious?
Never not working. Dandruff protection that's never not working. Head & Shoulders Scalp Shield technology.
Itchy, squirmy, scratchy, family not getting clean? Get Charmin Ultra Strong. Go get 'em! It just cleans better. With a diamond weave texture, your family can use less while still getting clean.
Goodbye, itchy squirm.
Hello, cream bottom.
We all go. Why not enjoy the go with Charmin?
Oh, that spin class was brutal. Well, you can try using the Buick's massaging seat.
Ooh, yeah, that's nice.
Can I use Apple CarPlay to put some music on?
Sure, it's wireless.
Pick something we all like.
Okay, hold on.
What's your Buick's Wi-Fi password?
Buick Envision 2021.
Oh, you should pick something stronger. That's really predictable.
That's a really tight spot. Don't worry, I used to hate parallel parking.
Me too.
Hey.
Really outdid yourself.
Yes, we did.
The all-new Buick Envision, an SUV built around you, all of you.
It's never too early to plant the seed, to share the tradition, and instill a sense of pride in your HBCU with your little ones. HBCU Pride and Joy Children's Boutique helps you share your school spirit with a wide selection of adorable kids' apparel and accessories officially licensed from your favorite HBCU. Visit hbcupridejoy.com and follow us on all social media at HBCU Pride Joy on Facebook and Twitter.
T. Madden and Associates is a sophisticated and experienced law firm located in your neighborhood. We're turning injury to cash.
T. Madden and Associates obtained almost $2 million for my injury. They turned my injury to cash.
Now, we can't guarantee how much your injury is worth, but we've recovered millions for our clients.
Call T. Madden and Associates at 833-PAID-123. That's 833-PAID-123.
Are you hungry for authentic Caribbean food? Like jerk chicken, oxtail, red snapper, shrimp, tofu, and rasta pasta? Well, find your way over to Mango's Caribbean Restaurant, 180 Auburn Avenue, right next to Royal Peacock in downtown Atlanta.
Them belly full, but we hungry.
Mango's Caribbean Restaurant, open daily from 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. And on Friday and Saturday, we're open till 4 a.m. Come to Mango's and put some spice in your life.
So we've got a good thing going.
Mango's Caribbean Restaurant, 180 Auburn Avenue, right next to Royal Peacock in downtown Atlanta. For more info or directions, call 404-698-3992 or log on to mangoscaribbeanrestaurant.com. For instant coupons, text MANGOS to 313131.
Tell your mama hungry, papa hungry, brother hungry.
Mango's Caribbean Restaurant, authentic Caribbean cuisines.
Open up the door, tell your mama hungry.
All right, welcome back to the ONG Strike Zone. Brian, Kelvin, Kofi, Marcus Green, and it's a pleasure to have on the creator of the Anthony Lawrence collection, Mr. Defron Fob. Defron, thanks for coming on the show tonight. How you doing this evening?
I'm doing great, man. I appreciate you guys having me.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So look, let me tell people first off who or what the Anthony Lawrence collection is, just in case they don't know. That is a licensed NCAA apparel company specializing in exclusive, high-quality HBCU apparel with unique designs. The Anthony Lawrence collection has unique designs with premium lifestyle products for HBCU alum, students, friends, and family. The collection specializes in premium HBCU products from T-shirts, sweaters, shorts, varsity letter jackets. They are known for their high-quality products and unique designs, and that is something that we have seen wholeheartedly. If you guys are not following at AL Collection on Twitter and Instagram, you should, because the Anthony Lawrence Collection is taking HBCU gear to another level. Now, Defron, you're a Southern grad. If you don't, I don't want to date yourself, but around when were you at Southern? In the I'm gonna guess in the 90s. I'm
04
guessing.
to
Wow.
08. 04
Okay.
to
So
08.
see, I'm way off. Okay. So 04, a little bit after. Well, a decade before, when most of us were at FAM, one of the things that I used to always complain about was finding quality merch. Because look, we all saw other schools, we all have friends that went to other schools, and we were like, how come they got that and we don't have that? So I want you to tell the story of kind of how you created your line, and do, as I was reading a little background on you, and you kind of had a similar backstory on how you decided to create the Anthony Lawrence collection.
Well, the first Anthony Lawrence collection before it was I got into the universities. I just had my own brand, and I just felt at the time that I wanted to create it. It wasn't like a brand that where you could wear every day, that was stylish, where you could go to work and then just go to a happy hour. You had to either go home and change, you had to bring clothes. So that's what made me start my own brand. What made me get into HBCUs was I was called to work LSU Tiger Mania. They had a flagship store in Baton Rouge. I had did several years at Foot Locker, and my district manager at the time took over. Lids had bought the Tiger Mania, and they needed somebody to run it. So he called me, and within a week, they wanted me to quit my education job to run the store. I didn't want to do that, but I did want to work at the store because it was apparel, and I wanted to see the different stuff that LSU had that was exclusive. So as I got to working in the store, doing the inventory, checking and stuff, I thought to myself, HBCUs doesn't have this. Nike is not giving this to HBCUs. They don't have the designs, the polos, the sweatshirts that I was seeing coming in and out. And I would just talk to the customers and LSU fans, and why would they spend this amount of dollar for this product and that product? It was at times I had every week certain clients would come in to buy the shirt that they thought Les Miles would wear that week, and that shirt started at $95. So that's what made me start with the HBCUs, not for that price point, but I wanted to give, starting with Southern, the same quality stuff that LSU was getting from at that time with Nike, and that was before we got with Under Armour and the other big shoes came into the HBCUs for sponsorship.
How quickly, when you created your first HBCU line, which I'm guessing was probably Southern, something Southern related,
Yeah.
being as how that's the school most dear. I know it's got to be killing some fans. You're gonna get ribbed for this. We love orange and green. It looks good on you, but you know we appreciate it. But no, I talk about how successful, or what was it that kind of you kind of, that first time you saw your apparel being worn around campus or at Southern events? Did that kind of validate your decision to kind of go with the strong HBCU market?
Well, my first shirt I did, it wasn't licensed, but it hit. It was a hit when people wore it. I had got an inbox from some attorneys, so I had to look into getting a license, which I wanted to do anyway. And I had some friends that knew some other friends that led me into the right direction. And once I did that, I knew what I already wanted to do for the design because I've been in the field. I worked with the Nike. I worked with the Foot Lockers. I had a background in that. So that part was easy for me. But once I saw people buying it and they loved what they bought, they wanted to know what was next. That is what kept me going, and that's what still keep me going today.
Nice. Marcus, go ahead. I'll let you to get the first question in there.
Hey, actually, I got a couple, but I guess my first one was I was gonna. Well, how did the agreement or the I know Janiyah Davis is one of your NIL athletes, and
Hmm.
I've been following NIL since it came out. How did that deal come about, and what do you foresee in the future as it relates to NIL and HBCU apparel, or even your firm in particular, are going forward in terms of collaborations?
When the NIL deal first, last year was my first year, and it was out a year or two before I decided to do it. And uh, when I decided to do it, I wanted to do something different other than just have the athletes or students just marketing something. I wanted to be something for them. So when I got into it, I wanted to make sure I was giving the athletes their own flavor, their own style that represented their university and them at the same time. When I got into the deal with Janiyah, we went back and forth because there was certain stuff she didn't like, that she felt that didn't fit her style, and which I was okay with that. I love that. I like to get the input of the athletes I'm working with because at the end of the day, it represents them. Even though it has my logo on it, it represents them. And I want them to be able to, after they finish playing, they maybe still be able to sell the product. They may want to go into business for themselves.
Okay,
Does that answer your question? Did I answer?
it
You
does.
had
Do you
two in
see
there. Go
any?
ahead.
Yeah. Well, the second part was in terms of NIL going forward, either for your firm in particular or just HBCU apparel in general. Do you see that getting larger and larger, and where do you think it's going to go?
It all depends on the athlete and the firm that wants to work with the athlete. I think for me, being a former college athlete, I want to see the college athlete actually, when I say make money off themselves. Uh, how can you sell a product after your family and friends purchase the product? Are they? I mean, that all that goes into when you're going into NIL deal and working with someone. So I think for as HBCUs and the deals that our athletes can get, it's going to be dependent on the brand and what does that person generate.
Thank you.
Go ahead, Kofi. Jump in there.
So, Mr. Southern Night and everything, got to talk about this Southern thing and everything, get on up in there and see what's going on. So, talk about talk about what sports you played at Southern.
I didn't
And
play at Southern. I played at Wiley. I went to Wiley for 2 years. I got my master's
okay.
at Southern.
Okay, and what did you play at Wiley?
Basketball.
And Wiley is actually a
HBCU.
original SWAC school,
Okay, yeah.
correct?
Home of the great debaters. Yes, sir.
Okay, let's go. So, in your observation, man, just in terms of the entire brand and what you're bringing to the table, when you went to Southern for masters, did you have an opportunity to become a part of that whole Southern culture? And what were some of your favorite games?
Man, I grew up. I'm from Baton Rouge, so I grew up in it. My grandmother, my great grandmother, my dad. I was always at the Southern games in between there and LSU. My biggest game was Alcorn, but it was because I was a Steve McNair fan. Like to this day, that's my favorite. That's my favorite player ever. Like I get upset
Right.
when people compare the kids today to him. I mean, it's just something. When they played in Alcorn, I snuck on the field. I snuck on the field, acting like I worked for ESPN just so I could get like that's a true story. And I was like 12, 13 years old. So that game to me is always growing up was the biggest game, and I just love going to the game.
Give me your three biggest games.
Versus Southern,
No, just as a Southern fan or going to the games, give me your three
uh,
favorite games.
Southern Alcorn, the Bayou Classic, and Jackson State.
There you go. Cool beans. Well,
Go
let's
ahead,
go,
Calvin.
man. So you got some new gear coming out for the fall?
Yeah, man, I'm actually working on the fall stuff now. Have some different stuff that I'm going to do, change some stuff up. For the spring, I'm doing wind runner collection, which is going to be light windbreakers that you could wear during the spring, breezy, and those are shorts and the wind pants will be available in both of those. Have some different style shorts that I'm going to release too in the summer, and then in the fall, man, it's just I have a lot of different stuff coming in the fall, from
So will you
cardigans.
be back for homecoming?
Yeah, this year my FAMU homecoming is on my calendar. FAMU
All right,
homecoming
cool.
is definitely on my calendar. And I was there for the Southern game, and that was my first time getting there. And man, I really enjoyed it. I loved it.
All right, cool, man. Glad you came.
Go ahead, Kelv.
So I kind of want you to talk about how you come up with the concepts. So first let me back up a little bit. So how do you choose the schools first of all that you selected? Did you look at sales and so forth? What was your strategy there? And then in terms of your do you have a team behind you that comes with designs and concepts for different kind of gear? And thirdly, do you plan on branching out, expanding? Are you trying to get in department stores?
So your first one was say your first one over.
The first one was did you
What did I? How did I came up with the schools?
how do you choose the schools, right?
Yeah. Okay. So when I first started, it was four schools on my list that I knew I wanted to do based on the culture, the colors that I love, the school colors, and just the alumni base. And that was Southern, Grambling, FAMU, and Jackson. Those are my top four schools for SWAC from when I first went apply for the license. Okay. After that, I mean, those four schools have been tremendous to me, to the brand. They love everything that I make. Uh, After that, I just researched the schools and the demographics. At first, I would just get a school because it was swag, and then I found myself losing money, and that's learned by trial. Which I mean, you have to learn. And so after I did that, and when it came back for renewal, I didn't renew some of those schools, and then I just did my research, and then I have like when people inbox me ask me, do I carry their school? I ask them, is it a following? Uh, what what what's the following? What's the alumni like? And then I have myself and I have a couple of team members on my team, and they go and they do the research, and then we come back to the table and figure out what's the best decision.
Okay.
Cool.
The
And
next
for
part of
the
that question was the design. How you come up with designs? Do you have a team that help you or what?
uh, I pretty much come up with the designs on my own. I like it's just like every day, man. I make life basically. That's how I come up with them. I'm being honest.
I
Like
want that
I could
sweatshirt.
I could be I could be driving, listening to music in a department store, seeing something, and then I'll be like, if I could do that, what if I put this here, take that off, put that there, or I could be sitting down sketching something and it all depends, man. Like it's no certain set. I just play with a lot of different stuff, and that's how I come up with most of my stuff.
All right. Are you in
And you said
it?
something about the
I know.
department stores.
Yeah, yeah. I know. I order my stuff through your website, but I
Yeah,
was
I
wondering,
have
were you trying to spend?
a store in Baton Rouge. Carried. It was like right before you get to Southern Campus, and something happened with the building. So I'm looking to change locations. So once I get the store back up in Baton Rouge, I'm looking to expand to here, Atlanta, where I'm at now, and then hopefully in Tallahassee, get a spot in Tallahassee somewhere. So that'll be in the next 5 years. That's what I'm looking to do with my next three locations.
Okay. Last follow up question to that: who sells the most product for you?
Southern.
Who
Uh,
moved? Who moved the inventory?
Who moves
Southern,
the needle? Southern,
Southern,
really?
Southern,
Okay.
FAMU. If I had to do it in order, Southern and that Southern FAMU, Alcorn and Grambling. tied for third. But like I had Southern the longest.
Right. So they're most
And
familiar with your
like
brand.
yeah, that like I'm just tapping into the FAMU market. To be honest with you, like I've been Southern. I've had license for maybe 8, 9 years. 7 of those were straight Southern. Like that's it. So that's home.
Right.
Gotcha.
So on that F that you have on it, is that textured or no?
No, this Chanel.
Okay.
It's a Chanel patch, actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
The lines around it just look like it's. I put the lines around it to make it look like it's actually in the fabric.
I got you. Look good. I want that
Appreciate
shirt.
it.
Kelvin, as you see, anybody, if you're watching, if you're listening, you're not going to see this, but if you're watching, Kelvin is actually rocking right now, I believe, the FAMU reversible bomber jacket, currently out of stock. If you go to AnthonyLawrenceCollection.com/FAMU, currently out of
You gotta be
stock.
quick. You gotta be quick.
Gotta be
You
quick.
gotta be
Gotta
quick.
be
You gotta
quick.
be quick. But speaking of the bomber jackets, through the Be Legendary line, which I put in the chat room, so I know I had a couple people ask for the website. I gave you the website, also gave you the line, part of the Be Legendary line, which is the NIL line, which our good friend Janiyah Davis, she has a line through, so you can order her shirt through there. But the green bomber jacket, which you see just over Defrom's shoulder there, is the most current version, which was recently just gifted to the entire softball program. Talk a little bit about that. That just happened. I would imagine just the other day. I know they had their home opener today. Did that just happen this past day or two, week, or?
Yeah, we just sent the ladies the jacket maybe last week. I think Jenna when they played Southern is when they shipped, but when they got back the jackets was there waiting on them. But it was something we was that me and Jenna had talked about. She didn't actually know. Hadn't even seen the jacket until I sent it to her. I sent her a picture or something. But the Be Legendary, it's a campaign, and the slogan is "Don't be good, be great. Don't make noise, make history. By any means necessary, be legendary." A couple of years I did it with high schools. The last 3 years I did it with high schools where I donated gear to basketball teams around the Texas area. I had 2 here in Atlanta to begin their season, and I actually did a commercial which is on my Twitter. And if the team made the playoffs, we gifted the guys and the coaches more gear. So this year I wanted to expand it since I did the NIL. I wanted to do it with my NIL athletes, and I did one with Southern as well, where I'm donating proceeds from the sales of that jacket back to the program, to the baseball program.
Cool, man. So have you been in contact with the FAMU bookstore?
No, I haven't, man. A lot of people ask me, but I haven't. I've been to FAMU one time when I came up there, man, and I hadn't had a chance to go around to actually walk the campus and meet too many people. But no, I haven't been in contact with the bookstore.
Well, here's what I'm going to say. Like the Orange and Green game is April the 15th.
Right.
So that would be, I don't know what you're doing, but that would be a good time.
Well, I had that. I saw that on the schedule, and I hadn't sent the email yet to see, but I plan on actually coming to the game.
Okay.
There you go.
So I don't know if they having vendors, but I actually plan to attend the game.
Okay. All right. Well, cool, man. I'll be in touch with you.
We need to figure out a way with the orange. Watch the Raw throwing ideas out at the wall. Look, I mean, with the green coming up.
Hold on. No, before you start, Brian, this is what I'm gonna do, man. Before we get off here, inbox me, and on behalf of Jana, we're gonna donate y'all the same jacket.
What?
Oh!
Whoa! Okay.
Nice job.
Oh,
Thank
wow.
you, Lord.
Oh,
Yes, sir.
appreciate that. Appreciate that. See,
Yeah.
here I am I'm about to try to how we can get some ONG
Hey,
gear for the orange and green game,
hey,
but I'm
I'm put,
like, look, hey, you know, Kofi's question brought up to mind a long relate Southern. Obviously through the 7-8 years. How primarily I guess brings me to this thought about with how I don't know, easy is the right word, but so much is being sold online versus an actual store front. Um, have you done storefront things with your Southern gear? You talked about having that long relationship. And if so, do you find a difference in sales online versus storefront?
Yeah, I have a storefront in Baton Rouge. It just recently something happened to the building like 2 months ago, but I had a storefront in Baton Rouge like right before you get to campus, right across the street from a store called Top Choice. So it was me and Top Choice. We sold different things, so it was never like people thought it was, us we was going at each other, but no, it was never nothing like that. But for me, my presence started online. For me, most of my sales come online, but it's always good to have people when they touch it, tend to buy it and they see the quality versus it being online. So it just depends. I just been blessed to have a great online presence, but I also like to have the store presence as well. And I love them both. I mean, I love it when I would go back home and people come in the store, they be excited to see me. I'm excited to see them. It just gives you a different time to build relationship, and you never know who might walk in the store.
Mhm.
True. True. I
right.
just want to let people know before I give an opportunity to ask a last question or two. Let people know that we all have families that go to other schools. So in case you didn't know, some of the other schools there are by my count about 15 to 17 other schools. You've got Alabama, Albany State, Alcorn, Clark, Dillard, FAMU, Graham, Howard, Jackson State, Kentucky State, Valley, Mississippi State, Morehouse, North Carolina A&T, State, of course, Southern, and Xavier, Louisiana. You've also got listed Troy University, which I believe is in Alabama, if I'm not mistaken, Troy. And then you do some stuff with the Divine Nine, with the Greek letter organizations as well. So there's plenty of gear outside of just our FAMU gear. So, I mean, we've got family and friends. So this is a great time to head to AnthonyLawrenceCollection.com and go take a look at the gear. Because obviously, you want your family looking good. You don't want your friends walking around in bad looking gear, and so you want to put them in
A
something nice.
bootleg gear.
Yeah, or bootleg non-licensed gear. Don't do your family like that. Put your family
Right.
in non-licensed bootleg gear. That says a lot about you as a person. Don't do that to your family.
Hey, and
That's
when you
right.
I'm
order,
So
just
do
if
you
you
saying.
have?
order in FAMU, if you order in FAMU gear from my website, please use the code JD. That's Jania's
Yes,
code, and she gets
yes,
paid when you use that code. So if
yes.
even
All
if you
right.
don't
Thanks.
order her stuff, if you order FAMU stuff, just use the code JD during checkout. You'll receive 15% off, and she gets a percentage of every time her code is used.
So
Her
Okay.
repeat the
code again
website
is
again.
JD, right?
JD, yes sir,
Lee.
JD.
All
Repeat the
right.
website.
AnthonyLawrenceCollection.com.
Hmm. I put it in the YouTube chat.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Who
Now,
else?
Defron, I have a
Maybe
question for
the
you.
last. Go ahead, Marcus. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry about. Actually, a double question, but I'll make this one short. I see that you have a new design out, the Building Champions shirt for FAMU,
Yes sir.
and I was curious when I saw that. Is that somehow tied to the athletic endeavor that has a similar
Yeah,
name or the same name?
that's actually an athletic seal. Uh, that's a licensed athletic seal that FAMU uses. That's part of the
But
licensing.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So I was asking, I don't know if a percentage of the sales of those shirts go to the, I mean, I know there's always the licensing and all that other stuff, but I didn't know if like those specific shirts, since it's part of the program for raising funds for athletics, if the percentage of that goes back to the school on top
Now
of the
that
sale of the
part,
shirt.
I don't know. I just know I pay the royalties to
So
TLC and to the
so
school. How I get distributed. I
yeah,
don't know.
I answer that. I answer that. Yes, the fishing license stuff through CLC. There's a percentage, and all those different Rattler Head, the building champions. All those are actual athletic, specific, um, official license, part of the template. So that percentage does go to the university, and hopefully athletics specifically.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, that's the whole purpose of having license and buying and supporting licensed vendors is very important,
Yes.
people. Now, not only are you getting fly gear and got you and your people looking good, but also you're giving back to your HBCUs when you do that. So you definitely got to cop this license gear, man.
Now,
And, it's-
on top of
and
that, I don't know, I don't want to, cut into your profits or anything, but you might need to get with our new AD because anybody who does investing in champions should probably get their hands on a shirt or at least come with the part of the, at least part of their investing in champions should probably get them a shirt.
hey man, I'm whatever it is that's helping our schools, man. When it comes to this type of stuff, I'm all for it, man. I partner with different organizations at different schools. I don't mind giving back because without the people, it wouldn't be no Anthony Lawrence collection.
All right. Defron, let me ask you one last question before we go. Uh, who is Anthony Lawrence? Where
That's my
came from
dad.
the Okay.
That's my dad. He passed my freshman year in college. So when I was looking for a name to start my brand, I just thought maybe I thought Anthony Lawrence it was just a name that'll stick out and that it fit what I wanted to do and what I'm doing. And it was also a way for me to represent him.
True that. Well, it
Good
has a
stuff.
it has a
Good
very
stuff.
regal name to it, so I love it. That's why I was wondering. I thought we were going to be talking to Anthony Lawrence. We are sort of. So, uh, you representing your dad well. So, props to you. Hey, and,
Appreciate
and
it.
also I saw you in the chat room said KJ Parker was one of your former players. Please explain real quick.
Yeah, I coach on the Nike EYBL circuit. KJ Parker played for me last year. Great kid, man. He's going to do good things at FAMU. And then I have another. My nephew is actually at Tallahassee Community College, man. I'm praying FAMU offering. That's where I want him at.
All right. Hey,
Well, we gonna see what we can do to pray this
speaking into
brother on in there.
speaking into existence. Yeah, speaking into existence, and
Yeesha. Yes,
we
sir.
we need all that we need ballers that we can get. So
For real.
let's uh
What's
let's
his
wrap it
name?
up.
What's his
J.P.
name?
Ricks, John Paul Ricks. He's just a freshman.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. Give word opportunity to plug anything. Let us know anything we looking out for social media. Last word is yours.
Yeah, you can follow on my Instagram is the new HBCU flavor. You can follow me on Twitter at AL Collection. Also, my other Twitter is at the new HBCU flavor. If you have any questions, you can contact me at info@anthonylawrencecollection.com. If you order anything FAMU, don't forget to use the code JD during checkout. You receive 15% off your total purchase, and percentage of that goes back to our NIL athlete, Jeremy Davis.
Wow. Well, hey,
Thank you.
Mr. Pleasure talking with you. Thank you for bringing some quality dope gear to FAMU. We love. I love seeing every time I see somebody something. And I'm like, I'm envious. I'm like, man, I can spend more money this, that, and I'm out here working 5 jobs. Just, I mean, I got to look good and some more greens. So
No
we appreciate your
problem, man. I
donation.
appreciate you guys for having me.
Thank you for
Man,
coming on.
donation to the show. We'll continue
Yeah,
pub up
definitely.
you, pub up Janiyah as much as we can. And I know we'll be in touch. We'll be in touch. Thank you.
All right, don't forget to inbox me you guys sizes and where should I mail? What size should I mail it all in one place? Just let me know.
We put it all
Will
at
do.
Kelvin's house, and then we just gonna show up at Kelvin's house and have a bomber jacket party.
All right.
I'll be inboxing.
Appreciate you guys, man.
All right, thank you, Defron. Defron
All right.
Fob, gentlemen. Anthony Lawrence Collection.com. Let's take a break. Come back. Open up the phone lines, Rattlers. We're gonna get to talk in a moment. We'll be back after the words.
Thank you guys for what you do for HBCU athletics. This is a fantastic avenue for all of us. This is our ESPN, so we love what you guys do. Brian, AD, Roy, all you guys at BCSN. We really appreciate what it is that you guys do for us.
Nope, not going in. Not gonna drown today.
Fixing your credit score can be scary, but with Credit Versio, we take the fear out of it.
Okay, you can do this. Be brave. Don't cry again. Hey, this isn't too bad.
Credit Versio helps dispute negative marks on your credit using our state-of-the-art technology that guides you every step of the way. It's never been easier to fix your credit and increase your credit score. Seriously, you can do this. Visit creditversio.com right now to get started.
From novice to aficionado, find yourself here. High quality cigars plus personal customer service. Slow Burn is Waco's only mobile cigar lounge, featuring a meticulous, curated collection of premium cigars. Visit our website, www.slowburnwaco.com. That's www.slowburnwaco.com.
If you think all pads are exactly the same, think again. This is Always Ultra Thins reinvented with the Always Triple Protection System. This pad wicks gushes 90% faster, absorbs even more so you can feel dry, and locks odors in. Rethink your pad for up to 100% leak-free and odor-free comfort with the totally reinvented Always Ultra Thins. This is always like never before.
All right, welcome back to the O&G Strike Zone. Ryan, Kelvin, Kofi, Marcus. Got to give a shout out again to Defron Fob, AnthonyLawrenceCollection.com. Don't forget, use the code JD to purchase the FAMU from his site. Just a quick update. FAMU baseball put up 7 runs in the top of the 6th. And now we trail just 16-8. That's 1 touchdown. 1 touchdown and a 2-point field goal. 2-point conversion. So that's all.
I told you this team can hit. This team has offense.
Yeah.
Give me my
pitching what worries me. Pitching's what worries me though. I tell you, man, we gotta settle down in some grooves with the pitch. Okay, last segment of the show, we gotta open it up. Let Rattler Nation jump in there, share some thoughts, things that are on your mind, things you discuss. Again, when you call in to the show, keep it short and sweet. Make sure where you're calling from, because we want to talk to hear your thoughts. So here's the number. Get ready to write it down. Somebody in the chat feature here, so that when you hear me say, be able to add it. Give us a call at 678-383-7623. Again, 678-383-7623. I don't know what you're doing over there. Is that like some sort of ASL that you're doing over there, Kelvin?
He shut up.
Yeah. Nation, we want to hear from you. Time for you to call in. Thoughts on your mind. Share your thoughts, disappointments about basketball, your enthusiasm. Kofi, tennis. I told you to talk about tennis. Tell us, tennis doing actually pretty well right now, right?
They're doing all
No?
right. They're doing okay. I mean, look, I'm a tennis guy, right? So
exactly.
Yeah, I'm a tennis guy, and I think that they're doing good. I think at this point for us, I would like to see us somebody on the team got to win at least one match against your PWIs. You know, when we're playing the University of North Florida, and they are good. You know, they are good. But in my opinion, if you can beat a University of North Florida, you can go out and you can win the SWAC. If you can beat a Troy State straight up, you can win the SWAC. If you can beat Georgia Southern, you can win the SWAC. And, you know, when we're playing against these other teams, I get that they've got, you know, a lot of people are going the international route and they're getting players from all over. For me, I kind of want to bring more definition into what we have. The good thing that I like about our program, it seems as though we are looking better, and the girls are playing a pretty decent brand of tennis, but they've got to be able to get over the hump. And where I perceive the weakness to be is with the transition game. And the transition games means getting up to the net and being able to put away points with volleys or with outright winners. So when you're hitting ground strokes, you're not just hitting the ball hard, so per se. What you're trying to do ideally is to be consistent and ideally try to create space so that you can hit a winner down the line, across court, or wherever. And when I see our girls play, one of the things that I see is I want to see more ball movement. Make the match more physical. Make the girls run. Make them have to go after it and put yourself in position to win the point outright. And you can't do that if you stay at the baseline.
Okay.
All right. So, yeah, I know that went over some people's head, but I'm just yeah. You when you're playing the game, is my thing frozen? Can y'all see me? Can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah. One of the things that I can honestly say, our girls have some size to them, and you know, just really with the game and with their games, being able to set up the point with the serve and work the combination. Serve the ball out wide, hit the ball up the line, come to the net, finish it off with a volley. Or serve the ball out wide and then be able to maybe close in and maybe hit a drop shot. That versatility there is going to be key come SWAC time, because you got to be able to maneuver. Jackson State has a very consistent team. Alcorn has a very consistent team. And Southern is good. Southern beat us last year. So we've got to be able to step up in the intermediate and, you know, see where we can get stronger so that we can win some of these matches. Hello?
Yeah. Yep. I'm here. I don't know. My connection is acting wonky here. I don't know. I'm hearing you guys well.
It's probably because you don't have on no darn orange and green. You got that old stupid blue on from your little high school. This is the ONG strike zone. The ONG. O stands for orange. G stands for green. Put on some darn orange and green and stop wearing that blue.
One more game, Kofi. One more game.
Going all over the place and stuff.
One more game. One more game. One more game of champion for the championship in the afternoon. 4:30 afternoon. Playing for champion, baby. 4 in a row. All right. Again, Rattler Nation, that number again, 673-83. 723. Maybe the phone line's not working. I don't know. Our producers on the back end working to try to get things going.
Football.
Bowl. Yeah, Legacy Bowl. Legacy Bowl. Obviously, Xavier Smith going in the game was actually one of those people. You would say in the week, I would say Xavier was the one that was probably winning the week, getting a lot of the press and probably the most attention that period. I guess has officially gone bad, huh? That's what somebody's trying to tell me.
Well, at least you got on orange and green.
Yeah, exactly. I got on orange and green. I got on orange and green. So there you go. Anyway, change. Yeah. So obviously, he ended up being the offensive MVP of the game. Very low scoring game, 10-3, like 8 or inches, 80 something yards. Scored a touchdown, the only touchdown, and then I believe Jose Romo Martinez scored a kick field goal, which represented the 10 points. So the winning team, which was Team Robbins, won 10-3. What did any of you watch the game? Did you get a chance to watch? I listened to it. Anybody watch it?
Well, I watched the highlights all week, and really, getting the opportunity to watch the game. The one consistent thing is that Xavier Smith really is an excellent route runner. I was impressed to see his speeds in the 40-yard dash, the 4.39, the 4.34. I was like, because you got to be able to get off the line in professional football, especially in the NFL. They'll try to be physical with you. And so to see his strength, to see his gains, to see what he's been working on, he's always been quick. He's got excellent feet. He's coachable, and he catches the ball, which is what you want your receivers to do. You can't talk about a good wide receiver and be dropping stuff all the time. He receives the ball. He's like money in that area. And so all of that is points to the fact that he has an opportunity, even if he is an undrafted free agent, to be able to play at the next level. He's going to be playing somewhere.
I agree. What are your takeaways? Any takeaways, Kelvin or Marcus?
Yeah, for me, Zay is a known quantity. Yeah, we already know he's been making plays the whole time. His stats are the standard is the standard. The icing on the cake was the 4.38 and 4.39, and also the fact that he was the game MVP. He looked like the best player there when he got there from day one, and he ended it that way. And so, we got Pro Day coming up March 30th here at FAMU, and him and Isaiah, who will be participating in the NFL Combine tomorrow. They'll both be a part of our Pro Day, and I really think we got a really good chance for two players to get drafted at some point this year.
Marcus?
I'm just, glad for Zay Smith and glad for Rattler Nation. And, he really showed out and he came back. I know you go back a year or so and we were kind of lamenting or kind of wondering what happened in the last playoff game where he had a couple of key drops. But he avowed this summer and he mentioned he was coming back with a vengeance and upped his leadership and just upped his overall game. And you see it prove out this year and even doing better in the combine. And I'm really pleased about all the hype that he's getting. And Steve Weiss of the NFL Network is continually keeping his name and Isaiah Land's name in the forefront on a broad network. And I'm just looking forward to what happens in April or May or wherever it is. But when the draft is either late April or early May, Just looking forward to hearing their names called, and if Zay does go the unfree agent route, he can pick his team, and he can go to the most advantageous spot. But I think he will be in the NFL.
Do you guys now? The show that I do on Sundays with Drew, I'm the number of HBCU guys being drafted at 4.5. Meaning, do you think there will be more or less than 4.5 players drafted?
It's
So
always less. If you're following the trend, normally, I would say there'll be four tops. I think there's an opportunity there. A lot of this is going to deal with the combine. And maybe we can start addressing their draft. I want to say issues or contingencies. I want to say after the draft, but it's good when you have a Steve Smith who will come out and say, look, you need to look at this player here, like he did for Xavier Smith. It's good that the noise is starting. This is as much noise as I've seen from about HBCU players that I have seen in a long time regarding it. And I think the success that what's my man's name up there in Detroit? What's his name? From Jackson State.
James Houston.
James Houston and
the DB at Kansas
our
City.
guy. Yeah. And the young man from what's his name at Kansas City?
Joshua Williams.
Yeah, Joshua Williams. And our guy that's playing for the Cowboys. All of that bodes well for the quality of players that we have. Now, we got to see FAMU transitioning to getting a couple of these SWAC football titles because we're placing a lot of people everywhere. So that is indicative of the talent that we really have on the team. I mean, Southern had 7, FAMU had 5 people on the team. Of the 5 people that were on the team, 3 of them played a major part in the outcome of the game. Yeah.
So Kofi says under 4.5. Kelvin, are you on that side of the line, or are you a little more?
I'm going. I think 4 is the number. I think it'll be 4 exactly.
Marcus?
Yeah, I'm trying to think about. I'm around thinking 4 as well. I'm trying to, in my mind, think who's getting a lot of hype to get drafted and not fall into the undrafted ranks. So
I got a question, though, Brian.
Go ahead, Coach.
Yeah, I got a question because I was disturbed earlier this week on that football issue, because everybody's talking about conference realignment and all this other stuff. But to see that Florida State's AD came out there and was talking about the ACC's media rights and what's going on with that, and that they're basically putting it out there that if a better deal kind of like comes along, that they're open to move. And I'm kind of like, we see that the SWAC media deal is piss poor. And I know technically we don't necessarily want to rock the boat, but for FAMU, it's really important for us to do what's going to be in our best interest. And, I don't see any of the HBCU presidents saying anything. I don't see any of the HBCU, the SWAC ADs saying anything about these media deals. I don't know if they're handling it behind closed doors, but my God, we see that it's bad.
Let me ask a question. Who has a better deal, HBCU wise?
Thank you.
Yeah, who has a better deal, FCS wise?
Right.
Nobody.
Well, does the isn't the CAA getting like $1 million per team?
No, I don't think
No,
that's
I
going to be
haven't
an
seen
article
that.
I've not
No.
seen that. I mean, we can check, but I haven't seen that.
Yeah.
Let's check that out because I was looking at it today.
If you're referencing a recent deal that they signed, I believe it was the CAA and I think it had to do with there was a line in there about an 8-figure number. I mean, if you're saying an 8-figure, they didn't give specifics, but at least that's $10 million. And that was I don't think that was a per school thing. That was more of a.
I thought that the CAA was getting like a 9-figure deal.
No, I never heard of 9 figures.
They've got more. They've got what, 12 schools now, with basketball 14. So either way, that is but that's getting cut up. But I'm looking. I'm doing some research.
Let me. Here's what's interesting. People saying that it's bad. Well, it's bad compared to what? The deal that HBCU Go presented to the SWAT is the best deal to the proposed 10-year, $120 million. Best deal to date.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, it looks like the universe or the ESPN deal, which has gotten a lot of pub, doesn't appear great. Today, what are we comparing it to? Are we comparing it to other FCS schools? We don't know what other FCS have gotten. We cannot. I will say this till I'm blue in the face. Do not compare HBCUs to the SEC, ACC, Big 10, Big 12, because we are not them. We are not them. Now, when we talk about our value and dollars and cents, I clearly maintain that until someone can put numbers and metrics to the value, like look, we can say my value is what my value is. Like the bomber jacket that Kelvin's wearing, even at $100. I mean, and because of the merchandise, you will pay it. But you'll probably look out on the marketplace and say that's probably in other quality bomber jackets. So it's what the market can bear. So I sort of reject this thought that we are getting a bad deal. We don't have numbers to measure ourselves against. I say, yes, there's been a few from regular TV, but until we start, or until the conference or schools start putting numbers behind the streaming services and the streaming deals, we don't know our number is our value, quote unquote, is until we start seeing what it's compared to. Now, we can throw a number out there. We could throw a number out there until we're blue in the face. No one wants to pay it. And sometimes I think that's what people want. I think people want a number thrown out. Oh, you're a swag. You're HBCUs. Throw a number out there. $100 million heights. I don't know if that's what you want to do. But where you base $100 million? Go ahead.
I'm right here. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Yes. So real quick, because I know we against the clock, but I'm looking at the CAA website, and so they have a CBS. Yeah, they have a CBS deal, and then the 8-figure I'm assuming you're talking about is the Flow Sports deal, which where they air some games on live on demand on a digital platform, and all it says is 8-figure agreement. They got 13 schools, and you're talking 1,200 games, a part of that package. We don't know how many years. I don't know if that's part of the 4-year extension or not. But that's, I mean, if it's $1 million over 4 years, 13 schools, that ain't $1 million a school. So the devil is in the details. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm always open for discussion and everything because, I believe in our brand. I believe in HBCUs. I know if you're comparing where we are right now as a Division I programs, while we're not at the level necessarily of a Big Ten or an SEC school, I think that from a competitive state, viewership wise and even draw wise, we're on par with what the Sun Belt gets. And I guess what's the other conference that Kennesaw State and them are going to?
The A-Sun,
A-Sun.
Sun.
Yeah, I think the SWAC is
so we got work to do. We've got work to do. So what Brian said and what you're saying now, Kofi, we got to quantify that, and the deal we have now will help to quantify that, because you will have some metrics you can say over the 4-year period or 3-year period of this deal that we currently have. These are our numbers. And so, you can use that to renegotiate or negotiate the next one. So I would say we finally on a path. I give the SWAC office credit. I think they've started the process. We're not a finished process, but it'll help to educate the honestly, if it wasn't for the SWAC office and whoever they working with, I don't think the schools themselves would ever had the deal they got, right?
Right.
So I don't want to poo-poo on what we got.
And to Kelvin's point, the HBCU Go deal. I've seen different articles and different things about how, quantifying streaming and everything, but the HBCU Go deal is through, I forgot what the term was, but because we talked about it when it first happened, like secondary markets. So we're we're on the secondary channel of a CBS or a Fox. So we're actually live over the air or on HBC or on what's the Grio.
The digital.
So now you have a quantifiable way to measure eyeballs, because we're in New York, we're in San Francisco, we're in Atlanta. So we have some measure there that's not a one-off or a single game, but now we have quantifiable numbers to measure against the ESPN numbers. So we can say, hey, ESPN, on HBCU Go, we got 10 million viewers or 50 million viewers every Saturday for a SWAC game, and our Thursday night game is getting 5 million or something like that. Or we're getting the same numbers on Thursday night, but we're not getting the same payout. So now we have an apples to apples comparison. Whereas when you look at the SEC, ACC, that's not apples to apples. That's like an apple to like a gold flaked filet mignon. And like that book I quoted, like that book that I put it in the thing, the tweet, Kofi, they've been at this for like 50, 60 years. They've been playing a long play since TV came out in the NCAA in the 50s. Notre Dame, and I think it was Princeton at the time when the Ivy League was still good, they were wanting to do the same thing that Georgia and Oklahoma did in 1980 when they sued the NCAA saying it was a cartel and they didn't have the right to manage it. So they had to wait 50 years. But all the while, they've been building up their profile, and every once in a while, Notre Dame would raise his hand and get slapped back because the NCAA was pretty much a bully back then. But after that Supreme Court lawsuit, it opened the floodgates. But by then, you already had integration, and you had us going to a divisional format, going Division I and then a Division I AA, which they snuck in to kind of separate the haves and the have-nots even more. So you have all those things converging to create what we have now. So that's why I think you can say they got 100 million and say we should get 10% of that, but you can't quantify it. But they've been looking at this for like the last 50, 60 years, and they're making it play out.
All right, well, it's 10:05 now.
All right. Yes, and that's going to do it for tonight's show. We'll leave it with that point by Marcus. Again, got to thank Defron Fob of AnthonyLawrenceCollection.com for joining us on the show. Make sure to use the code JD whenever you go to the site and purchase FAMU gear. That way our friend Janiyah Davis gets a portion of the proceeds. And so thank you to everybody on Facebook and on you being a part of the discussion. Hit the thumbs up button if you have not already. Helps out the algorithm. And then do us one more favor. When the podcast drops, hopefully you following us, the BCSN Pod Zone, wherever you download or listen to podcasts rather. We'd appreciate it if you go ahead and download it, subscribe, and even if you don't listen to it, download it, rate it, share it with a friend, share it with a rattler, share it with your mom and daddy, and we'd appreciate it. Remember, buy unlicensed material for your family. That's our pro tip for tonight's show. Don't buy unlicensed merchandise for your family. Period. Thanks to our producer Roy. So that's going to do it for Marcus, Kofi, Kelvin. I'm Brian. Thank you guys for watching and listening. Be safe, Rattlers. And on this, make sure you strike, and strike again. Peace out.